Assalamualaikum and hi, I'm Amira Farisha from JBC 2423A. The topic for this video is mergers and acquisition. What is actually mergers and acquisition? A merger is an agreement that unites two existing companies into one new company. There are several types of mergers and also several reasons why companies complete mergers. A merger is the voluntary fusion of two companies on broadly equal terms into one new legal entity. The firms that agree to merge are roughly equal in terms of size, customer, and scale of operations. Mergers are most commonly done to gain market share, reduce cost of operation, expand to new territories, unite common products, grow revenue, and increase profit, all of which should benefit the firm's shareholder. An acquisition is when one company purchases most or all of another company's share to gain control of that company. Purchasing more than 50% of a target firm's stock and other asset allows the acquirer to make decisions about the newly acquired asset without the approval of the company's other shareholders. Commonly, acquisition is about of large, well-known companies because these huge and significant deals tend to dominate the news. In reality, mergers and acquisitions occur more regularly between small to medium-sized firms than between large companies. Why make an acquisition? First, as a way to enter a foreign market. If a company wants to expand its operation to another country, buying an existing company in that country could be the easiest way to enter a foreign market. The purchased business will already have its own personnel, a brand name, and another intangible asset, which could help to ensure that the acquiring company will start off in a new market with a solid base. Second, as a growth strategy, perhaps a company met with physical or logistical constraint or deplete its resource. If a company is encumbered in this way, then it's often sounder to acquire another firm than to expand its own. Such a company might look for promising young companies to acquire and incorporate into its revenue stream as a new way to profit. Third, to reduce excess capacity and decrease competition. If there is too much competition or supply, companies may look to acquisition to reduce excess capacity, eliminate the competition, and focus on the most productive providers. Fourth, to gain new technology. Sometimes it can be more cost efficient for a company to purchase another company that already has implemented a new technology successfully than to spend the time and money to develop the new technology itself. Next, we have forms of takeovers. Takeovers is when one firm successfully bids to take control of or buy another. A majority ownership in the target company can be purchased in a takeover. Mergers and acquisitions are also routinely used to carry out takeovers. The firm making the bid is known as the acquirer, and the firm it intends to control is known as the target. A larger corporation usually initiates a takeover when it wants to acquire a smaller one. They can be voluntary, which means they are the product of a mutual agreement between the two businesses. In other circumstances, they may be unwanted, in which case the acquirer pursues the target without the target's awareness, or in some situations, full consent. There are 4 types of takeover. I will explain by giving an example for each type of takeover. For the first takeover is welcome takeover or known as friendly. Assume that a company XYZ is interested in purchasing a majority stake in ABC. Company XYZ devised a strategy to approach the board of directors of a company ABC with a potential bid. The board of directors of company ABC would then discuss or vote on the bid. If the management of company ABC believe that the deal is beneficial to the company, they will accept it and recommend it to shareholders. The deal will be complete once all necessary approval from a board of directors, shareholder, and the other regulatory bodies have been obtained. For the second type is unwelcome takeover, or known as hostile. Green Growth Brands attempt to buy Afria in December 2018, which was an example of a hostile takeover effort. Green Growth Brands made a 2.35 billion all-stock bid for Afria. The offer was rejected by Afria's board of directors and shareholders, who claimed that it undervalued the company significantly. Third is the reverse takeover. The reverse acquisition of J. Michaels, which is a furniture manufacturer, by Murrah Seibert's brokerage firm in 1996, resulted in the formation of Seibert Financial Corp, Murrah Seibert & Co.'s holding company. Seibert Financial Corp is now one of the top discount brokerage business in the US. Lastly is backflip takeover. The 2005 buyout of AT&T by SBC is an example of a backflip takeover bid. Because AT&T's better brand image, SBC purchased AT&T for $16 billion and renamed the merged business AT&T. Here we have types of acquisition. The first type is horizontal. This is the point at which an organization procures another organization in a similar business or industry that is a contender. A genuine illustration of the equivalent would be Facebook obtaining WhatsApp. WhatsApp actually exists with its image name. Nonetheless, it is presently possessed by Facebook. In the recent order of acquisition, we can additionally expand on this exchange. Facebook and WhatsApp are both in a similar industry, that is web-based media. In any case, the obtaining has promoted both profiting by one another's mastery. Second is vertical acquisition. This is the point at which an organization gets either a provider of source of info or a wholesaler of its item, or the organization to which it sells its item. For instance, a piece of clothing organization gaining the wellspring of cotton like a ranch. This is generally done to have a higher authority over the store network and hence affecting the receipt of crude material and conveyance of items, and thus affecting the pivot season of the sourcing of information and conveyance of the item to the end client. Third is conglomerate acquisition. This is the point at which an organization secures an organization in a totally unique sort of business, industry, or area. This is generally accomplished for the enhancement. An illustration of this would be a food industry organization securing an organization in the apparel business. The pants industry as of late took over Hamleys, a toy items organization. The pants is a monster combination which need to broaden into the toy business and hence attempt the obtaining by getting the 100% proprietorship moved to itself. Lastly is conglomerate acquisition. This is when organizations sharing a simultaneous meet up. This can be anything, either comparable creation innovation or comparable appropriation channel. Yet, the creation movement of the two organizations isn't connected. This phrasing exists since it is accepted that there can't be some other sort of comparable aside from the being thought of while categorizing the kinds of acquisition clarified till now. Anyway, that isn't the case basically. There is in every case some sort of cover, and in this way, if procurement isn't absolutely some other kind, it is named the conglomerate one. Next, we have defensive tactics. Defensive acquisition is defined as a corporate finance strategy describing the acts of firms acquiring other firms and assets as a defense against market downturn or possible takeover. A defensive acquisition contrasts with the normal encouragement for an acquisition, which is usually increased market share or revenue. For example, Malaysia Building Society Berhad (MBSB) by Asian Finance Bank (AFB) in order to get bank license that fully Sharia with a lower cost. When MBSB get a bank license, they can operate as the bank without buying the license with BNM, which is Bank Negara Malaysia. There have 5 types of defensive tactics. First, we have leverage recapitalization. It also known as corporate reorganization. Is a set of activities that impact a company's stock and debt structure. For example, recapitalization typically entails the following money transfer, like asset sales, subordinate debt, and dividend distribution. For example, Sir James Osborne's Green Mill of Dunlopville and Elastomeric Corporation in 1970s and St. Regis Publishing Company in 1984, Charles Inchan's Green Mill of Uitm Capital Partners in 1986. Next, we have Green Mill. Cleans up is a takeover of the enemy's possessed shareholdings from an antagonistic acquiring firm at a higher price than its competitor cost in exchange for the purchaser agreeing to not continue pursuing control of the target in the near future. Green Mill taxation used to be significant roadblock for this defense. Furthermore, the state law may require shareholder approval for a premium repurchase of a certain number of shares. Then the golden parachute. Golden parachute are additional monetary reward paid to the target stock executive in the event that their hiring is terminated as a result of a prosperous hostile acquisition. This defense decreases the amount the acquirer is ready to pay for the target's share because these remunerations decrease the target's holding. As a result, this defendant may end up hurting shareholder. It, on the other hand, effectively prevents hostile takeover. For example, Tim Keaton, the CEO of Cisco System Venture, was said to receive nearly 9 million if the company underwent any adjustment in control. Shareholder rights plan. A poison pill, also known as a shareholder plan, is an allocation of right to purchase share of the target or trying to merge acquirer at significantly reduced price to the target's stockholder. The possession of a certain percentage of the target's shareholding by an acquirer prompts the exercise of this right. This right, if exercised, can substantially dilute the acquirer's shareholding in the target, deterring a takeover. For example, the dead hand pill produce long-term managers. These are the director of the initial goal, and they are the only ones who can reclaim the pill if the purchaser poses a threat to buy and target. While previous court rulings prohibited use of dead hand and no hand pills, more court laws have upheld their use. Last but not least is shock repellents. Shock repellents are regulations in a target's charter or bylaws that discourage an acquirer from pursuing a takeover attempt. This defense usually entails a majority in Congress vote necessity in the case of a target majority shareholder merger. Other acquisition threat regulation in the target's article of registration or bylaw are also included in this defense. For example, executive actions, Scotch Air policy, golden handshake, and safe harbor strategy are all examples of shock repellents. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you for watching. Bye.